It is done. It is done. Go home and wait for the news to come.
In a great and lively city where tall buildings stood proudly and wealth flowed like a river, there lived a man named Peter. Peter was a hard-working, kind-hearted man who feared God and treated everyone with respect. He was married to a beautiful and gentle woman named Agnes, whose patience and wisdom made their home peaceful. God blessed their marriage with 2 lovely daughters, Faith and Joan, who brought laughter and warmth into their lives. Peter loved his family deeply and provided everything they needed. They lived in a magnificent mansion in the city, surrounded by luxury, comfort, and admiration from neighbors.
Look at this, isn't it wonderful? It's amazing, I love it.
With expensive cars parked inside, and visitors often admire their success. To many people, Peter's family was the perfect example of happiness and fulfillment. However, as African elders often say, not every smile carries good intentions, and sometimes the greatest danger comes from one's own blood. Peter had a younger brother named Paul, who lived in the village with his wife.
We need to find a way out of this.
I know, but it's not going to be easy.
Paul's life was far from comfortable, and though he worked hard, he never enjoyed the kind of success his brother had. Every Christmas season, Peter would visit Paul with his wife and daughters, bringing gifts, food, and money. They would sit together in Paul's compound, eat from the same pot, laugh together, and share stories like loving brothers. Paul would smile and act happy, but deep inside him lived jealousy and bitterness. Each visit reminded Paul of everything he lacked. He envied Peter's wealth, his happy family, and the respect he commanded. In his heart, Paul constantly questioned why his brother was richer than him. Though he smiled outwardly, his mind was filled with dark thoughts. He secretly hated Peter and wished his fortune would become his own. Unknown to Peter, envy had already taken root in Paul's heart, growing stronger with each passing day. One evening, as the village grew quiet and the sun disappeared behind the trees, Paul sat alone outside his compound, lost in deep thought. His heart burned with jealousy and anger as he imagined Peter's luxurious life.
Why is he richer than me? Does it mean I'm not man enough to be rich? There must be something wrong somewhere. I think something is wrong somewhere. Or is Peter a ritualist? Let it not be that this guy is a ritualist, because why is he this rich? My friend, why are you sitting down here alone? Where is your wife? Hey, my friend, I'm just tired. Why is my brother richer than me? Is this the reason why you're sitting here? Come on, brother, just calm down. And I think Peter is a ritualist, and I don't like the way he's enjoying more than me. I think I have a solution for this. Let's eliminate Peter and take over his property. Yes. How are we going to achieve that? We will go to the wicked chief priest. You are a very smart guy, my friend. Let's go now.
That same night, Paul and his friend went to the shrine of the wicked gods of their land to seek dark power. When they arrived, the chief priest already knew their purpose.
Who is here? We are here to see you, chief priest. I know why you both are here. Take this mirror.
He gave Paul a mirror and asked him to call Peter's name 3 times. When Paul did, Peter's image appeared in the mirror. The priest handed Paul a knife and ordered him to stab the image.
Take this knife and stab the mirror. Your brother will die immediately.
As Paul stabbed it, smoke and blood poured out of the mirror.
It is done. It is done. Go home and wait for the news to come.
Far away in the city, Peter was sitting in his dining room, eating happily with his wife and daughters. Suddenly, he began coughing violently. Before anyone could understand what was happening, Peter collapsed and died instantly. Agnes screamed in pain and rushed to him, shaking his body and calling his name, but he was lifeless. Faith and John cried loudly as fear and sorrow filled the house. The joyful mansion turned into a house of mourning within minutes. Neighbors rushed in, and the news of Peter's sudden death spread like wildfire. The next day, Agnes and her daughters dressed in black as friends and relatives gathered to mourn. Tears flowed freely, and sorrow filled the air. In the midst of the mourning, Paul arrived from the village, pretending to be shocked and heartbroken. He cried loudly and acted like a grieving brother, hiding his wicked secret. Instead of comforting Agnes, he accused her of killing his brother by failing to give him a male child. His words were cruel and heartless. The very next day, Paul forcefully chased Agnes and her daughters out of Peter's house. He took over the mansion, the cars, and all of Peter's property. With nowhere to go, Agnes and her daughters carried their bags and wandered until they found shelter in an uncompleted building. Life became extremely hard for them. They slept on bare floors, endured hunger, and cried many nights. Years passed in suffering, but Agnes remained strong, encouraging her daughters to trust God. Though poverty surrounded them, she taught them kindness and humility, reminding them that wickedness never lasts forever. As time passed, one of the daughters, Amora, began selling mangoes in the market to help support the family. Despite her suffering, she had a pure and compassionate heart. One day, a beggar approached her and asked for a mango. Without hesitation, Amara gave him one. The next day, the beggar returned, and she still gave him mangoes. On the third day, as she reached out to give him another mango, a very beautiful car stopped in front of them. The beggar stopped her and asked her to keep the mango. He then revealed that he was the owner of a big Coca-Cola company in the city. He explained that he had disguised himself as a beggar to find a wife with a kind heart, someone who would help him without knowing who he was. Amora stood in shock as he asked her to enter the car and take him to her family. Amora gently led the man through the narrow paths of the community until they arrived at the uncompleted building that had become their shelter. When they saw Amora step out of a luxurious car, they froze in shock, fear, and confusion. With a trembling voice, Amora explained everything that had happened in the market. As she spoke, tears rolled down Agnes's face, tears not of pain, but of gratitude and disbelief. The man listened quietly as Agnes narrated their painful journey, from their happy life in the city to the death of her husband, their humiliation, and years of suffering. Deeply moved, the man promised to change their story. The next day, he returned and asked them to enter his car. He drove them through beautiful streets and stopped in front of a new house. He handed Agnes the key and told her the house was theirs. Shock, joy, and praise filled the air. He then promised to sponsor Amora and Laura to study in the UK, assuring Agnes that her daughter's future was secure. Agnes fell on her knees, thanking him and praying for him endlessly. While joy returned to the lives of the innocent, judgment was quietly waiting for the wicked. The very next day, shocking news spread like wildfire across the city and the village alike. A terrible road accident had occurred on a major highway, involving several vehicles. Among the victims was Paul, the wicked uncle who had destroyed his brother's family out of jealousy and greed. People gathered in shock as the news confirmed that Paul did not survive the accident. The same man who once chased a widow and her daughters into the streets met his end suddenly, without warning or mercy. Those who heard the news whispered among themselves, remembering how Paul forcefully took over his brother's property and treated his family with cruelty. Some said it was fate, others said it was karma, but the elders simply nodded and said, "The gods of justice may be slow, but they never forget." Soon after, true to his promise, the man made arrangements for Amora and Laura to travel abroad. Their journey to the UK marked the end of their years of suffering and the beginning of a new chapter filled with hope, education, and dignity. The girls who once slept on bare floors were now stepping into a future many only dreamed of. Time passed, and everything the man promised came to fulfillment. Amora, whose kindness to a stranger changed her destiny, grew closer to the man who had rescued her family. Love grew naturally between them, built on sincerity, respect, and gratitude rather than wealth. In due time, the man married Amora, not because of pity, but because of the purity of her heart. Agnes, once a broken widow sleeping in an uncompleted building, now lived in peace, comfort, and dignity, watching her children flourish. The same world that once mocked them now admired them. The fall of their uncle served as a warning to all who allow jealousy to rule their hearts. Though evil may rise for a season, it never reigns forever. Goodness, patience, and humility will always have the final word. From riches to rags and back to honor, their lives prove that destiny can change in a moment through a single act of kindness. They all lived peacefully as ever.